Ever wonder what the vertical oscillation metric is on your Garmin or Apple Watch? Does that metric even matter? Should you even track it? In this video, I'm going to describe to you exactly what vertical oscillation is, why you should track it, how it's going to help you reduce injury, and how it's going to help you run faster. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Kevin Vandy, physical therapist and running specialist with Competitive Edge Physical Therapy. So what is vertical oscillation? It's a big old word. Let's dive into what it is. So it relates to the amount of bounce you have while you run. If you look at your friends, people in your running club, even if you're just out on the street, some people bounce a lot when they run and some people don't bounce at all. The question we have to ask ourselves here is, how much bounce is enough? Well, when you look about what that metric is, it's a relation to your highest point and your lowest point when you run. The highest point is usually when neither foot's on the ground, but your leg is in swing. That's when your body's at its highest. And then the lowest point is when you're fully in stance, your leg is bent, and you're getting ready to start your push-off. The distance between those two values is your vertical oscillation metric. So why does vertical oscillation even matter? Well, the goal of running is to run horizontally as fast as you can for as long as you can. And any energy you use to press your body upwards, i.e. a higher vertical oscillation, is energy wasted. Additionally, when you have a high vertical oscillation or a big distance between your topmost and lowest most point in running, you actually increase the amount of impact forces on your joints because you're coming up and landing back down onto your leg, and that high fall increases pressure and force load on your body. Additionally, the muscles responsible for lifting you up versus pushing you forward, your quad and calf, they overwork when you have a high vertical oscillation. That can relate to quad cramping and calf cramping at the end of a race. It can lead to pain and overuse, tendon injuries, because you're using too much energy to push yourself up versus push yourself forward. On the flip side, too little vertical oscillation, meaning there's no bounce. When that happens, it might be called scooters or shufflers. You see people that have no spring in their step when they run. That can be equally detrimental in terms of it's a lot more usage of your muscles, you're going to fatigue a lot quicker, and you're going to get overuse injuries in your soft tissues like your tendons because you're on the ground too long and they're having to work for too long a period of time. So if you're not supposed to have too much vertical oscillation and you're not supposed to have too little vertical oscillation, because both will increase your injury risk and both will use more energy and both will sap you of the vital energy you need to run fast and hit your PR or hit your race times, what is the normative range? The normal vertical oscillation is between 5 and 10 centimeters. Now the reason it's a range, some people are taller than others, some people are shorter, somewhere in that range is ideal. You go under 5 centimeters when you run and you're going to be on the ground too long. You go over 10 centimeters when you run and you're going to have too high of a push off, too much float phase, too much pressure when you land, and you'll be using energy on something that isn't for running faster. The way you can track vertical oscillation, if you have a running watch or smartwatch, if you scroll through the metrics, it'll be presented as vert OCS, oscillation. That's the metric that tracks the amount of bounce in your run. You can set that on your watch face as a metric that you can look at while you're running. You can track it over time, but having awareness of what's normal helps you to use that metric to be able to improve your running form. Again, between 5 and 10 is normal. So you're probably asking yourself, what causes high vertical oscillation? I say high because it's the most common deviation from normal is people bounce too much when they run. The number one cause is a low cadence. Cadence meaning the number of steps per minute. When you have a low cadence, it forces you to push really hard to generate the energy to run forward. And when you push really hard, oftentimes you use your quad, your thigh muscle, and your calf, and you end up pushing yourself up instead of pushing yourself forward. And that creates a high vertical oscillation. So one of the easiest fixes is to increase your cadence by about 3%. That can have an immediate impact on decreasing your vertical oscillation. A next common cause of high bounce when you run is excessive quadriceps usage and an under usage of your glute muscles. When you rely on your thigh muscles, even if you run 5K, 10K half and you find that your quad is really fatigued or your quad cramps at the end of a race, you may be overusing it. Well, there's big old muscle in the back of your hip called your glute. You've probably heard of it. You've probably seen tons of things online that you should use your glute more for running. And in this case, that is 100% true. Using your glute allows you to drive your hip forward versus driving your body upwards. It's a learned skill, it's a learned motion, but once you do nail down how to activate and use your glute with running, it can make a massive difference at normalizing your bounce with running and increasing your running speed. Another cause of high bounce when you run is not getting good enough leg drive when you run. So once your foot pushes off the ground and you're driving your knee forward in swing to take the next step, the second your knee crosses the other leg, crosses your stance leg, that is what creates the need to start pushing off your foot on your stance leg. When your knee crosses the other leg, more of your body mass is in front of you than next to you or behind you, and that forces your foot to start to roll off, and that creates more of a horizontal push off when you run. So you might not be thinking about your swing leg as a way to decrease vertical oscillation, but it makes a big impact. And being able to have a fluid, fast leg drive is going to help get you off your foot faster, making it so you have less of a chance to push vertically and a greater chance to push horizontally to increase your running speed. So swing leg mechanics, being able to drive your leg forward quickly, put more body mass, put more weight in front of your body, that can make a big difference at getting off your feet and reducing your vertical oscillation. The other big factor is a lack of forward trunk lean. When you run, you should be leaned forward a slight amount, not a lot. You don't want to be bent over or hunched over when you run. But if you run upright, it makes it so your calf and quad want to push you up instead of pushing you forward. A simple slight forward lean makes it so when you push through your calf and quad and glute, it drives you forward. So if you're not used to leaning forward when you run, that is something to practice. It can feel awkward at first. But making that change is one of the easiest ways you can reduce vertical oscillation quickly. So what are the causes of low vertical oscillation? The number one cause is a decreased strength in your quad, calf, and glute. Those big leg muscles that help you run, when those aren't strong enough and your body weight lands, you take a step forward and you land, and those muscles are not ready to support your weight, you're going to have excessive bending of your hip and of your knee and of your ankle, and that's going to make it really hard to store that energy and then use that energy for push off. There's going to be a period when those muscles get hot and they get tired and they get fatigued because they're not strong enough to handle the demands of running. Because they're not strong enough, you will spend additional time on the ground. Spending additional time on the ground is going to increase your injury risk, increase fatigue, and will reduce running performance. Another cause of low vertical oscillation is a lack of endurance, a lack of training. If you're not used to running, you're a novice, you're just starting out, if you're entering a new running distance that you're not ready for, you're going to be tired. And when you're tired, you don't have the power to push yourself forward or upwards. So you end up just sliding, or you end up just scooting across the ground without any real drive or bounce to your running gait. Being able to develop that strength, being able to develop that endurance can make a big difference at gaining vertical oscillation to get you into the normal range. The final cause of low vertical oscillation is when your coach tells you to sit back into your run. He tells you that because he wants you to use your glute, he wants you to be able to use your hip muscles, but oftentimes when a runner sits back, they end up just staying very low in their run and not having the bounce they need to get the propulsion, to get the movement, to get the speed to run faster. So although the cue is right when applied correctly, a lot of times it's applied incorrectly by runners, and you end up having a very low vertical oscillation and your muscles just start screaming because they are dead tired. So, should you track vertical oscillation? Yes. Is it a metric worth following? Yes. Getting yourself within a 5 to 10 centimeter range of vertical oscillation will help you optimize your energy usage, help you reduce your injury risk, help you run faster, and by focusing on all the causes, increasing your cadence, increasing forward trunk lean, increasing your strength, decreasing your ground contact time. All those things are going to make you a phenomenal runner by focusing on one metric, which is vertical oscillation. So though it's tucked back, although it's a somewhat obscure metric, it can have a lot of value when combined with things you're likely tracking already. All right, runners, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go out, I want you to use vertical oscillation on your running watch on your next run. Try to stay between 5 and 10 centimeters and let me know how it goes. Come back, drop a comment below, and fill me in on how that felt in your run and whether it made a difference. All right, guys, that's vertical oscillation, a relatively obscure metric that when you focus on it can make a big difference in your running. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified when my future videos come out. If you want some additional information about cadence, what it is, the optimal cadence you should use for running that helps you to reduce or optimize your vertical oscillation, be sure to check out the video here for more information on running cadence. Until next time, guys, train smarter and perform better.